This Roblox game looks simple at first, but it gets crazy very quickly. We're jumping into +1 speed keyboard escape, where every step makes us faster and the only thing standing between us and the finish is a huge keyboard obstacle course. The idea sounds easy, but one wrong move can send us back and force us to repeat the course. We start with a very low speed, so the first stage is mostly about learning how everything works. The map is made from giant keyboard keys, and we have to run, jump, and avoid obstacles while trying to reach the finish. At first our character feels slow, but every step gives us more speed, and that changes the way the course feels. The first sections are fairly simple, giving us time to understand the movement. Some areas are wide and easy to cross, while others require careful jumps. Falling can waste a lot of time, so staying on the platforms is already one of the biggest challenges. As our speed starts increasing, the game becomes much more interesting. Moving faster sounds like an advantage, but it also makes controlling the character harder. Turns arrive quickly, jumps become harder to judge, and we have less time to react when an obstacle suddenly appears. We're beginning to understand the main idea of the game. Speed helps us clear sections faster, but controlling that speed is what really matters. One small mistake can send us off the keyboard and force us to repeat the previous part of the course. The next sections introduce more difficult jumps and tighter platforms. Now we have to think before every movement. Jumping too early or too late can completely change where we land, so timing becomes extremely important. As our speed increases, we can progress further and reach new stages. That progression makes every successful attempt feel useful. Even when we fail, we learn something that can help us on the next run. Every platform arrives sooner, every turn requires a quicker reaction, and recovering from a mistake becomes more difficult. We need to stay focused and control the character instead of simply holding forward. We reach another checkpoint, and the next part of the keyboard course starts looking more complicated. The platforms become narrower and the obstacles require more precise movement. This is where the game starts feeling like a real reaction test. Our speed keeps climbing, and we're beginning to push through sections much faster than before. We're still making mistakes, but every attempt helps us understand the course better. The goal isn't just to become fast. It's to become fast while staying in control. We're only getting started, and the course is already becoming more dangerous. Our speed is increasing, the stages are getting harder, and there are plenty of obstacles still waiting ahead. Let's keep moving, improve our reactions, and see how far we can get before this keyboard escape finally beats us. The course is getting much harder now, and our speed keeps increasing. At the beginning we had plenty of time to think about every jump, but that is changing quickly. The keyboard platforms are coming toward us much faster, and every mistake can send us back. We need to stay focused and react before the next obstacle arrives. The next section is much tighter. The keys are smaller, the gaps are wider, and there is less room to correct our movement. We slow down when we need to line up a difficult jump, then accelerate again when the path opens. Finding the balance between speed and control is becoming the most important part of the game. As we continue, the course starts changing again. Some platforms move in different directions, while others leave only a narrow path to follow. We have to watch several keys ahead instead of focusing only on the one directly in front of us. Planning ahead makes a huge difference when we're moving this quickly. Our speed is now high enough that even simple turns require concentration. A small correction can suddenly send the character too far to the side. We're learning to make shorter movements and avoid unnecessary jumps. The smoother we control the character, the faster we can actually progress. Another difficult section appears ahead, and this one has almost no room for mistakes. We build up speed, line up the jump, and go for it. For a moment it looks like we're going to miss, but the character barely reaches the other side. We keep moving before the next obstacle catches up with us. The most dangerous moments happen when the keys are spread far apart. We need enough momentum to cross the gap, but too much speed can make the landing almost impossible. The timing has to be perfect. We watch the next platform, wait for the right moment, and make the jump. When we land successfully, there is barely enough time to celebrate before the next obstacle appears. The next stage is even more challenging. The keyboard layout becomes more complicated, and the obstacles are placed closer together. There is no time to hesitate. We need to react instantly, choose the safest route, and keep our speed under control. We make a few mistakes along the way, but every failure helps us understand the timing better. Instead of giving up, we try the section again with a different approach. Eventually the movements start feeling more natural, and we begin clearing obstacles that stopped us only a few attempts earlier. The speed keeps rising, and now the escape feels completely different from the beginning. We're not just running across a keyboard anymore. We're flying between platforms and trying to predict every movement before it happens. The faster we become, the more important our reactions are. For now, the goal is simple: keep the speed, stay on the keyboard, and reach the next stage without falling. We're getting closer to the hardest parts of the escape, and the next section could be even crazier. Let's keep moving and see how far we can go. The keyboard escape is becoming much more difficult, and our speed is now so high that there is almost no time to think before the next obstacle appears. What started as a simple run has turned into a serious test of reaction time and concentration. Every platform matters, and one missed jump can send us back through a section we've already completed. The next part of the course introduces narrow keys and large gaps. We have to build enough speed to reach the next platform, then slow down so we don't fly past it. The timing is tricky because the faster we become, the smaller the window for correcting a mistake. We make it through the first few jumps and reach a section of moving platforms. This is where things become unpredictable. We can't simply memorize the route because the platforms keep changing position. We have to watch carefully, choose the safest opening, and react at exactly the right moment. Our speed continues increasing, and that makes every successful section feel more rewarding. We are moving across the keyboard faster than ever, jumping from one key to another without much time to stop. One careless movement can still end the run instantly. Another difficult obstacle appears ahead. Several platforms are separated by wide gaps, and the landing areas are surprisingly small. We line up the first jump, accelerate, and launch across. The landing is close, but we make it. Before we can recover, the next jump is already waiting. This part of the course requires a different rhythm. We need small corrections and quick reactions. A few times we get too close to the edge and almost fall, but we manage to recover and continue. Those moments make this escape intense. We finally reach another checkpoint, giving us a short moment to reset. Looking back at how slow we were at the beginning, the difference is huge. Our speed has increased dramatically, and the same keyboard course now feels completely different. The next stage pushes the difficulty even further. The platforms are smaller, the gaps are longer, and the route gives us less time to react. We need to predict where we're going instead of waiting until the last second. Staying one step ahead is becoming the only way to keep moving. We make another attempt and clear a section that stopped us earlier. The timing feels much better now, and we're starting to understand how the speed works. Every successful jump makes the next one easier because we're learning to control the momentum. But the course is still not finished. New obstacles are waiting, and the final stages look like they could be the hardest part of the escape. Our speed is getting higher, the keys are getting more dangerous, and there is almost no room for another mistake. We're getting closer to the end, but this is exactly when we need to stay focused. Let's keep our movement under control, react quickly, and push through the next section without falling. The final challenge is coming, and it's going to test everything we've learned so far. The escape is reaching one of its hardest stages, and our speed is now so high that every movement has to be precise. The keyboard platforms are moving past us quickly, and there is almost no time to recover after a mistake. We have already made it through several difficult sections, but the final stages are clearly going to be much more dangerous. The next section starts with narrow keys separated by large gaps. We need enough speed for each jump, but landing is the real challenge. A little too much movement can send us past the platform, while slowing down too early can leave us short. We line up the first jump, accelerate, and launch forward. The landing is close, but we make it and immediately prepare for the next one. The course becomes even faster after the checkpoint. Our character is moving so quickly that the platforms seem to disappear underneath us. We have to look ahead and plan the next few moves before reaching them. Waiting until the last second is no longer an option. The higher speed also makes simple obstacles dangerous. A turn that was harmless earlier can now send us flying off the keyboard. We have to make smaller steering adjustments and avoid unnecessary jumps. Staying calm is just as important as being fast. After a difficult sequence, we finally reach another checkpoint. Every failed attempt showed us something useful, and now we're completing sections that looked almost impossible when we first started. The next challenge is one of the longest gaps we've seen so far. There is almost no room for hesitation. We build up as much speed as possible, line up the character, and make the jump. For a moment it looks like we're going to fall, but we barely reach the other side. That was one of the closest moments of the entire escape. Now the course starts mixing everything together: narrow keys, moving platforms, fast turns, and large jumps. There is no single strategy that works everywhere. We have to change our movement constantly and react to each obstacle as it appears. One mistake here could cost us a huge amount of progress. We're getting very close to the final stages now. The speed is incredible, but we've learned how to control it much better than before. Instead of fighting against the movement, we're starting to use the speed to our advantage. Long gaps become easier to clear, and quick sections can be completed much faster. The final part of the keyboard escape is waiting ahead, and it looks like the game wants one last test before we reach the finish. We've come too far to slow down now. Let's keep our focus, control every jump, and make one final push toward the end. After everything we've survived, reaching the finish would be the perfect way to end this challenge. This game started with a simple keyboard course, but the increasing speed turned it into a real reaction test. If you enjoyed the adventure, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Roblox gameplay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next escape. The final stage of the keyboard escape is finally here, and our speed has reached a level that makes every jump feel insane. We started this adventure moving slowly across simple keys, but now we're flying through the course with almost no time to react. The finish is getting closer, but the game still has plenty of obstacles waiting to stop us. The first section looks familiar, but everything happens much faster. Platforms appear almost instantly, and we have to make decisions before reaching the next jump. Looking ahead is more important than ever because waiting until the last second could send us straight into an obstacle. We reach a long sequence of narrow keys with large gaps between them. We need enough momentum to reach each platform, but too much speed can make the landing difficult. We line up the first jump, accelerate, and launch forward. The landing is successful, and we immediately prepare for the next one. The speed keeps increasing, making the course feel completely different from the beginning. Every turn comes faster, every gap looks larger, and every mistake becomes more expensive. We've learned to make smaller movements, and that is helping us stay in control even at incredible speed. Another difficult section appears with moving platforms. This part requires perfect timing because the keys are constantly changing position. We wait for the opening, make the jump, and quickly adjust our direction. For a moment it looks like we're going to miss, but we land safely and keep moving. The next obstacle combines everything we've learned so far. There are narrow keys, quick turns, moving platforms, and a huge gap at the end. We don't have much time to think. We move through the first section, make the turn, line up the jump, and accelerate. The character launches across the gap at full speed. For a second we can't tell whether the landing will work, but we reach the platform perfectly. That might be the most satisfying jump of the entire escape. We immediately continue forward because stopping now could be even more dangerous. The final stretch is finally visible. We've come from the slow starting speed to this insane pace, and now the finish is only a short distance away. The last few platforms are still tricky, but we're ready. We make one final series of jumps, carefully correcting our movement after every landing. The keyboard keys rush underneath us, but we're staying focused and using everything we've learned throughout the challenge. No panic, just one jump after another. And finally, we reach the finish. After all the difficult jumps, failed attempts, increasing speed, and dangerous platforms, the escape is complete. This game looked simple when we started, but the faster we became, the more challenging the course turned out to be. If you enjoyed this speed keyboard escape adventure, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more Roblox gameplay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure. The final part of the escape is here, and our speed is higher than ever. We started with a slow character and a simple keyboard course, but now we're moving so fast that every jump has to be perfect. The finish is close, but there are still difficult obstacles between us and the end. The next section has narrow keys and large gaps, so we need to keep our movement under control. We build up speed, line up the jump, and launch forward. The landing is successful, and we immediately prepare for the next platform. Another group of moving platforms appears ahead. This part requires quick reactions because the safe path can change in seconds. We wait for the right opening, make the jump, and adjust our direction before landing. It feels much faster than the earlier stages, but all the practice is finally paying off. The next obstacles combine everything we've seen so far: narrow platforms, quick turns, and long jumps. We stay focused and take each section one at a time instead of rushing blindly. The final stretch is getting closer, and the finish is finally in sight. Our character is flying across the keyboard, and every successful landing brings us another step toward the finish. One mistake could ruin the run, so we keep our movements smooth. And finally, we reach the finish. After all the difficult platforms, missed jumps, increasing speed, and dangerous sections, the escape is complete. What looked like a simple Roblox challenge turned into a serious test of timing and reaction. Speed keyboard escape was much harder than it looked, but that is what made the adventure so much fun. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Roblox adventures. I'll see you in the next video.